Najee Harris is a Charger. Javonte Williams is a Cowboy. Josh Palmer is a Buffalo Bill, the most important man in the world. People are calling him. It's the Davis and Liam show. Let's get after it.
It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks constipated. It's Short King Summer.
There we go. GM, Liam. How we doing, buddy? How's how you living, man?
I'm excited, man. I've been drafting off stream. I feel like I know all the rookies. I just made huge ranking adjustments. Going to be dropping those later today. Like to rip a draft first. We're getting news. Tangible news. There's some players who are losers of free agency. There are players who are winners. We're going to jump into some drafts, guys, but I think we're just going to run through some of the additions and talk about it before we draft, just so that we aren't jumping around. So let's kick it off, Davis. Davante Adams, a Ram. Now, for me, especially in the big board, like I think people are going to be optimistic enough to go 2-3 turn on him. So T. Higgins range, right? Where you could squint and see it, right? You see, hey, man, Cooper Kupp was going there. Now it's Davante Adams. He's not cooked, yada, yada. I won't have him ranked there myself because that is a full 2 rounds past where he used to go. He used to go in the 55s. That would be going in the 25s. So you're making I don't know. It's not crazy because you're just sacrificing a second and third round player, but I get the optimism. I don't think Puka should drop it all in draft. Some people are saying that. I still think he is firmly 106, 105, whatever you want to say.
I moved him. I moved Puka behind CD, and I moved Adams into the tier with Worthy, DJ
That's
Moore,
where I put him too.
Mike Evans, Marvin Harrison Jr. I can see it both ways. He was not cooked last year, 2.04 yards per route run. Given the context of where he was playing, Raiders, and then like a really bad Jets team, I think it's fine. But the thing is with these veteran guys is they're not cooked until they're cooked.
Exactly. Right. Like
if and every year older you get, 30. I mean, Cooper Kupp was uncooked last year and then cooked himself in the middle of the season. Cooper Kupp started the year, looked fine, hurt his ankle, was okay when he came back, and then was getting out targeted by Tyler Higbee in the playoffs. Like it was done.
I just think it's quite risky to be jamming him over some of the younger players who it's not like, okay, in a season-long outcome, I would argue Davante Adams has a lot better season outcomes than, say, a Worthy, just from like risk sense. But in a week-to-week outcome, just simply betting on Jameson Williams, these guys we know who can drop 30 and win you contests, sacrificing that to hope that the 32-year-old is the key to doing that week 17. I'm just not willing to forgo every second and third round player. So I think he's definitely a winner. I think it's a dream spot for him in the sense that you got Stafford on the twilight years. You got him on the twilight years. It's a good merge. In a different contest where he wasn't going in the 55, maybe. But I don't know. I would never make.
I don't really care that much because he was also going in a range the fourth round has been the worst round to pick for the entirety of the contest. And if you're thinking about the 2v2, so the 2v2s are a lot like what it would be. I guess it would be like Davante Adams in round 3 versus Jaden Daniels or Tet McMillan.
And it would be like. You could have
Josh Jacobs Adams versus Tet and Amarian Hampton or something like that.
No, you can have Davante Adams in the 5th, plus your first round pick, plus your second and third round pick. So say that's like whatever you want to say that is. T. Higgins and Josh Jacobs, plus 4th round player. Or you can have one player from the second and third round and 3 players from the fourth and fifth round, basically, with having Adams plus Tep plus whatever, which it's not crazy, right? In a 1 week outcome either to just do that. But with his
like
age,
in a DraftKings salary cap contest in week 17, you might make that decision anyway. You might be like, I like Devontae Adams at the same price as Terry McLaurin better anyway. Like they're going to project very similarly. In fact,
crazy, like in a like the past couple of years where we've seen Steph Diggs, Keenan Allen, even Tyreek Hill, like all of these guys, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, all of these guys lose massive value in our eye for anyone to be like, I need all of that guy because he's Devontae Adams, right? That Travis Kelce, you know. Anyways, let's move on. I think a big one to talk about is Justin Fields is a Jet. Opinions are all over the place. I think it's very good for Fields. It seems like he is going to get 17 weeks of a starter unless they're a sneaky team to like draft Jackson or something like that. Otherwise, it's like Jalen Milroe. I wouldn't be too worried about that. Maybe it's a week 17 concern.
They definitely should take Jalen Milroe, by the way. If your quarterback room is Justin Fields, Jordan Travis, and no one, you're not paying, by the way, crazy money. Like $20 million for your starting quarterback is well below league average. Like I think Minshew is making 50.
Yeah, he should send Sam Darnold like a fruit basket because the Sam Darnold success off that 1 year is getting these guys paid, Daniel Jones and Fields. The big thing to talk about though is Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, where Fields actually does check it down to the running back a little bit, where typically the rushers don't. We just saw Derrick Henry, Saquon, James Cook, all these guys have big success with rushing quarterbacks. At the same time, Justin Fields is not the same thing as these guys as a passer, right? Like I think almost everyone understands Fields is not going to be viewed as elite. You never know. Like Geno Smith was a 0 and then he whatever, right? Like so it's possible, but I personally think both Breece and Garrett are on the loser side. Garrett more so, where, yeah, we saw the DJ Moore miracle season with Justin Fields, where DJ Moore was going to the 3-4 turn. That's where I think Garrett belongs now. Breece, I think he belongs in that mix of Chase Brown, James Cook, Kyron Williams, right? He's still obviously uber talented, but you're going to have Fields stealing work. How are you viewing those guys?
I moved Fields way up. I moved Garrett Wilson down a little, and I moved Breece Hall down a little. The thing that they have going for them is the same reason that they were first-round picks last year. Like, if Justin Fields can just be competent, like not a disaster. Like, if you told me the Jets win 7 games, I actually probably don't move them down at all because it means he keeps the offense roughly on schedule. Garrett Wilson could lead the entire league in target share, not in like total targets because it'll be a low volume offense. But I mean, he could. There's like who on this team would take a target away from him on a 3rd and 7?
Yeah, but how many? I want to go back and look at this. Like, how many passing yards did Fields average in those 8 starts or whatever he had? And also, like, big lesson from that is the Steelers basically telling Fields last year, hey, you're going to get the gig next year, ended up with him being like, F you guys, you're going to bench me again. I'm going to the Jets, right? And I mean, it makes sense for the Jets where it's just like, whatever.
Oh, this was a good signing by the Jets. I think your argument,
like they're not going to win, but like, they just need some fun.
Your argument for Wilson would be the DJ Moore miracle season. Fields is accurate when he throws.
But that's not DJ. That's not Garrett. Like Garrett Wilson's not like win go route, and
he's a very different style of player. And then your argument for Breece is just running backs get about a half yard per carry benefit in efficiency when they play with a running quarterback. Fields is basically the best running quarterback. I mean, pure rusher, I mean, I guess Lamar is better than him per rush, but if you had to give a quarterback 200 carries, you'd probably take Fields first out of any quarterback in football right now. I think if you had to give a quarterback that many rushes.
I don't know about that, but like it's not like he's noticeably better than even like Josh Allen, who wins in a different way of running.
He's definitely better than Josh Allen in terms of total yardage.
In terms of like likelihood to get an 80-yard touchdown, sure. In terms of like consistently churning out 15-yard rushing, conversions, which are more valuable. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, I think they're all minor. And with Brees, who knows what the new coaching staff does, but he wasn't viewed as a timeshare dude, and then all of a sudden he practically was a timeshare dude at times. So it could go wrong.
Braylon Allen is just so good.
Yeah, it could go wrong in different ways for them. DK Metcalf is a Steeler. We don't know who the quarterback is. We're hoping for Aaron Rodgers for their sake. The worst case is not that bad for fantasy, which is Russ returns. But Pickens is a loser, right? Like I moved him down half round. Metcalf.
I moved Pickens down a ton. I moved Pickens down like 20 spots, I think.
I mean, Pickens, I put him in like, I was already lower on Courtland Sutton. He's I've not been into Courtland Sutton anyways, but it's not like Pickens doesn't have good single week upside. And he's also just like due for positive regression in like many ways. So I don't know. Like if we're getting Rodgers, I'm fine with Pickens. I'm good with DK. I don't get the people saying that Pickens is going to get traded. Like you don't sign DK Metcalf and be like, yes, now we have 2 good wide receivers, and then be like, we only ever need 1 good one. It could happen, but
it makes a lot of sense if you think Pickens is going to hold out or hold in or want a bigger contract, and you don't really want to do that, and you think Metcalf is close to him, slightly better than him, slightly less of a locker room problem than him. Like there's a lot of organizational reasons why you would choose to do that and then immediately extend Metcalf if you think that is happening.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm Rodgers, I'd choose the Giants just because they're in the NFC.
And Neighbors. Neighbors is better than both those guys combined too.
Well, I would take the Steelers roster, but
sure.
As far
Giants defense was really good last year though, right?
Yeah, and they added some guys. But like as far as likelihood to win the Super Bowl, I would take the Giants just because I don't have to play the AFC powerhouse groups. And it's also just so funny to like play in the same stadium just with the Giants instead of the Jets.
That's true.
So I don't know. DK Metcalf, definitely like a to be determined. I kind of left him in that Tet range for now, but it could go real bad for both of them. Quarterback dependent. Aaron Jones back with the Vikings, big winner. Again, they barely have any draft picks, so people thinking that like, I think they're going to try to trade down in the first, but he's a winner. Let's try to run through some of these other things pretty quick. Josh Palmer with the Bills. I think that's he's a good dart throw at the end of drafts. He offers something that the Bills didn't have before. He's good against man. Dyami Brown is a Jaguar.
Yeah, $10 million for Dyami Brown, man.
I think he's a pretty good pick. He's like basically the wide receiver 2 right now. Maybe it's Parker Washington. Brenton Strange is also a winner. Evan Ingram looking like he could be a Charger, which would be awesome, or a Bronco, which would be pretty good.
It would be pretty good if he could play 80% of the snaps. What you don't want is him splitting with Nick Kroll and Adam Troutman. Like 62% of the routes for Evan Ingram is dusty.
I think people are hoping that you get like the Jimmy Graham years with Ingram. I mean, I would choose the Chargers. Chargers are Najee Harris is a Charger, and the first day this was reported, people were like, yes, $10 million, Najee, this best pick in the board. It was it's $4 million in rushing incentives. J.K. Dobbins, obviously, I mean, he might still return to them on something cheap. Who knows? But I still think the Chargers are very likely to draft serious competition, the Henderson tier, the Judkins tier, or better in the draft. And so I personally am not going to be the guy slamming Najee in the 70s and 80s. Other people will.
No, I'm done. I'm done. I mean, I got all my Najee in the 120s, so I'm happy to let other people have him. You know, I did 100 drafts before Najee got signed, so I'm happy to leave him there.
I am no Najee, but I'm going to be mixing them in because you could see the touchdown. Like, it's the nut landing spot as far as what's he got.
This is I actually don't even know this. What did Dobbins do per game? 70 rushing yards.
Slated because he had like a good. First off, he got so many checkdowns. He had like a great like 2 weeks of the season, and then not so much.
If Najee does what Dobbins did in 13 games last season, 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns, yeah, you're well, at the old price, you're pretty happy. In the 70s, maybe you're like whatever, but in the 120s or whatever, you're feeling good.
Finishing up the news. Kirk still looking like he might be a Brown. We got about like 5 days left until he gets that $10 million. So we're going to learn something soon there. Nick Westbrook-Akine signed with the Dolphins. Not exactly great for Malik Washington. Both are, I mean, unless Tyreek Hill gets traded, then it's pretty good news. Which
right.
I think Tyreek is a big candidate to be Amari Cooper, Devontae Adams, etc. Guys who are traded mid-season. Like if things fall off the wheels for the Dolphins, I could see that. DeAndre Hopkins lands with the Ravens, which, you know, most people are assuming Hopkins is cooked. The best case for him is if they do move on from Mark Andrews, which there's been some smoke there, you could see him kind of being like the Mark Andrews and like kind of like just like a big-bodied, slower, big wide receiver at this stage of his career. I could see a miracle good touchdown season.
Who's your favorite 32-year-old wide receiver that the Ravens have signed? What's your like of all the ones that there are? Like, are you a Dez Bryant guy? Are you a Deshaun Jackson guy? Odell Beckham, Deontay Johnson, and they've done it with running backs too. Le'Veon Bell, Latavius Murray, Tevin Coleman remember when Tevin Coleman was a Raven? I mean, they have had the Ravens are like they're always willing to give you one more chance for sure.
Yeah,
one more chance.
I mean, look, he's a defensible pick. The Patriots have done absolutely nothing on offense.
They tried, and everyone said,
"Yeah,
peace."
They're at the point where they're wish casting for Cooper Kupp, which is not
the Mac Hollins signing, bro. I mean, that is dark.
He's like a culture guy. He's a blocking guy, but no, he's not a fantasy guy.
It's funny that it's probably actually bad for Booty, who I was taking some in like the 18, 19, 20. It's like, well, if there's a like for like replacement there, it's him playing on the outside instead of Booty.
I don't know. I wouldn't say anything set in stone. Like if the Patriots are down 15 in the second half, are they really going to be tossing out Mac Hollins, who doesn't get separation and needs a miracle throw? Maybe.
Kayshon Boutte doesn't really get separation either.
Well, no, this is Kupp on the Bills is definitely not happening. That's clear.
No. Shakir. They already. I was going to say they already have Cooper Kupp.
Well, I mean that was a really good signing by them because that was before Darius Slayton got all this money. Darius Slayton, a loser in free agency so far, returning to the Giants. That's not what we wanted. If it's Rodgers, though, okay, then it's pretty good again.
Sure, he could be Allen Lazard.
Yeah, he could be a guy who has a random 6 to 8 touchdowns with them. JSN, I personally thought he's pretty overrated. now there's no one else there, so people are enthused about him. They're taking him at the 2-3 turn. I don't know, man.
I moved him up like a spot.
I moved him up into an acceptable range, but like I think he belongs in that Mike Evans range of guys. I don't think he's. I mean, I guess if you're being generous, you're going to say that he's like, well, you're hoping for this. Like, I'm into Drake London for like target share reasons and what he did with Penix.
I mean, Jason had a nice run last
Well,
season.
that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're being generous, you're saying that, well, he's going to be he's basically Drake London, but cheaper, which I could see. But I don't know. When you have no one else on the team, that's also generally not good. And they're going to draft someone pretty high.
I was going to say they're like locked in to drafting somebody.
Demarcus Robinson is a 49er, which I could see Ayuk traded to the Pats. Like that is, I think, like I don't think they'll trade Ayuk. His contract actually aged quite nicely a year later. But Demarcus Robinson, he could do whatever Juwan Jennings things, I guess. Like he's not a crazy pick at the end of the drafts.
He's just so bad. He just truly I know he scored the touchdowns last year. He is really one of the worst wide receivers in the NFL.
Look, all these guys, the Westbrook-Akines, the Demarcus Robinsons, that whole band, you're hoping for like 5 to 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, if Demarcus Robinson had went on his touchdown run in the postseason or in the fantasy postseason that he went on the regular season, sure. But what instead happened was that he, from weeks 15 to week 18, he generated 0 receptions. That's actually you go look it up. It sounds like I'm making it up. I'm not making it up. It's 100% true.
The Vikings are winners of free agency in the sense that they invested in O-line. They had to pay for some guys who are not quite worth it, but that's a win. Their O-line was trash.
That's just I think, I mean, if you had to choose one or the other for a team you're rooting for, overpay mediocre talent on the offensive line or just like play hardball with every offensive lineman and try and get a good deal, you'd rather overpay.
Yeah. And then I would say the same thing for the Jags, where they got some O-linemen as well. Fix the zoom a little bit, Davis. This is quite zoomed out.
There we go. Panthers. They tried to pay Milton Williams, and then he said, "I didn't want to play for you." Is that what happened? I don't even know.
They had some good moves. Nothing too crazy. Bears are definitely winners in free agency.
Oh yeah.
My first 101 in a long time.
Influencer 101. You love to see it. Actually going to take Justin Jefferson at 3 on this one.
I have him ranked as 2.
I like it's just the 2v2 when you take the wide receiver is better because it's like you do Justin Jefferson and Jonathan Taylor is better than Bijan Lad McConkey or whatever.
That's why Jefferson should be the 2. That's why CeeDee Lamb should be a pick. That's why Puka should Brian Thomas Jr., dude, he could easily be the 101 of wide receivers next year in drafts. If it's him, Gabe Davis, who is like quite Mac Collinsy, Diami Brown, like, do we think the T. Higgins getting moved is any more likely after guys like DK Metcalf got $150 million?
I mean, oh shit. Oh, okay. I am going to take Barkley. It's probably marginally more likely. Like, it's maybe marginally more likely because I just don't know where the Bengals money is coming from. Where like the Bengals
they're losers in free agency just because they've been dragging their feet,
I got to go read this tweet because it's just so goddamn funny about the Bengals. I mean, making fun of the Bengals ownership is like
Cowboys in the same boat as far as
Cowboys huge losers. Huge. They are so stupid.
Javonte Williams goes up a little bit in rankings, but he is pretty much a placeholder.
Yeah. I moved Javonte up into like the one. I mean, I already had Javonte ahead of ADP, but I moved him up a little bit. This is the tweet. So much happening in the NFL right now. The Bengals front office are going to have their minds blown when they read about it in the newspaper tomorrow morning.
I saw that yesterday and I got it, but when you read it, I was like, I wonder what they're going to learn tomorrow.
It's so funny. Yeah. Yes, Javonte Williams is like a rug pull that comes back alive. You're gonna get rug pulled multiple times by Javonte.
Yeah, the Commanders obviously winners of free agency too, getting Tunzel. The Texans have traded away. I mean, I am so confused how a team like the Patriots weren't like, hey, we'll give you our 7th round pick, instead of,
I mean, apparently all the reporting is that it's like kind of like a locker room thing, that like Tunsil's just a dick. And his teammates don't like him or whatever.
No, I'm talking about on Kirk, man. On Kirk.
Yeah. Why was everyone asleep in the Patriots building? Like Christian Kirk, great.
How about the Jags? The Jags themselves should have been like, look, we're about to do this with them. We'll take your 7th instead.
Well, maybe they think they're going to take Travis Hunter and put him at wide receiver.
Yeah, I've been into him as a wide receiver for a long time.
All right, I'm going full alpha start. Barkley Taylor.
Nice.
Tyreek. I hate it actually, but
see, it's like I never really loved pairing the T and Chase. I'm going to do it anyways.
I mean, it's fine. You set yourself up to not get sniped on Burrow if everyone here is staying in the lane.
There's going to be like an auto draft in the mix. The other nice thing is that I mean, T could get traded, so you can win a lot of ways. I'm operating with the sense that T's going to be a Bengal, but T becomes a Patriot.
You know what?
Goes up in drafts.
I'm going to take DJ Moore. Normally I would just take Garrett Wilson, but there's enough reason to be concerned over there.
Yeah, I have him ranked way below the 2-3 turn, closer to
the Jaguars saving $10 million on Christian Kirk and then immediately paying $10 million for De'Ami Brown. Maybe Kirk has left. I mean, he might have less left than we think, and no one would know more than they do.
That is possible, right? Where it's like maybe it's a really bad sign that that they were willing to trade him to the division rival, but I don't know. I personally think Kirk is like, a cheap Tank Dell right now. Not as good.
I mean, he's fine. But you're not.
Yeah, I have a hard time
windmilling it
with Amon-Ra. I have a hard time not just taking him. But like Brian Thomas over, like I have Amon-Ra ranked over Brian Thomas just because of how good he's been. But I don't know. Like if Brian Thomas closes as the 106 in drafts, that won't surprise me either.
In Best Ball Mania or Big Board?
Best Ball Mania.
Genty is I just like Genty is going to be the 106 or the 107. People are going to double count it when he goes to the Cowboys or the Bears so hard.
Sure. CMC, what's your take on them paying Jordan Mason $5 million? So I don't think Jordan Mason's going to leave the 49ers anymore because they hit him
second round tender.
Yeah. And so like what I think is quite possible is that this year they are not doing the, hey, CMC, you're the
get every touchdown.
Yeah. Like they're going to be like, Mason takes some between the 20s. Grendo takes some passing work. I don't know. I put Grendo and Mason just next to each other in the rankings. But I think it could be either of them as far as like the backup. But no, I mean, paying $5 million for a backup running back on a team that like shed everyone pretty much. Like the 49ers era is over effectively.
I wonder. I mean, frankly, like obviously some of
They
the
could still win, but like they just lost. The free agents from their team signed for more than the total salary cap.
That's crazy.
That's how much money and talent they lost.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, maybe you want to make like a small argument that losing some of the defensive talent could actually boost it for the offensive players.
I think this is a nice price for Davante Adams. Like a pick 44, who cares?
Oh yeah, totally. Who cares? I mean, I'm a little bit worried about double elite onesie, but it's fine. Actually,
it is funny that Worthy they threw away the charges, but and he was consistently going as a 3rd-round pick before then. But just because he was arrested and then that was not arrested, he's got like a minor discount still.
I guess that is. I mean, 41 is crazy. I guess maybe there's some small chance something comes around or whatever. I don't really know what to do with Metcalf. I just kind of left him in the same spot, but I'm not loving clicking DK Metcalf. Also true. Rice, some of the doctors, Jeff Mueller and some of these other guys are saying, ooh.
Dude, they don't have any reports. There was an NFL insider who said things are going well. And there was one video of him jumping. And so that off of that, they're pretending that they have information. But no, the info on Rice has been better. I took Flowers pairing a division rival. And then, getting Hampton here. Still think he'll be the 2nd running back taken. I don't think I want him to be a Bronco, although it could work there. I think I want him to be a Charger, something like that.
Yeah. Where are you at on Mixon? Because he keeps falling in these drafts. He was a 4th-round pick for the first 25% of the contest, and now he is. You can get him. Sometimes he goes after Kamara.
I have Mixon and Chuba in the Kamara, Walker, Henderson tier. Just and I think that tier is pretty flat, starting as early as after Jameson Williams goes, where it's Tep McMillan. I think Hampton's a little bit tier above, but Tep McMillan down to this Ken Walker pick is a pretty flat tier to me. Godwin is a winner and McMillan is a loser, but it's also quite possible that Godwin, most of his production is backloaded, and McMillan has a really strong start to the year. So I don't know. I moved Godwin up, but I don't know how you're people.
I just thought the whole time the most likely thing was him being a Buccaneer.
Well, he took $20 million less to return.
Yeah, to not go to the Patriots, which is, I mean, that is absolutely hilarious. McAfee just retweeted a bid from 2021 that has Rodgers talking about loving Pittsburgh.
What McAfee's doing, man.
I am frankly, at this stage, I am just rooting for Rodgers to retire just so I don't have to fucking deal with it. The 14th best quarterback in the NFL should not be dominating headlines like this. I'm so over it.
Where do you view Judkins versus Henderson?
I moved Judkins up a lot, and ADP has been drifting that way. Not going to surprise me at all if Judkins is actually way better than Henderson, because he has the more.
I thought he was a winner from the combine, but at 220 he did that, but Henderson's ADP's just been ahead, so I keep on clicking him, but both of them are landing spot dependent somewhat.
Yes, and I'm actually just going to take Judkins here. Been doing some more of these 3x3 starts instead of just going so hard on the wide receivers.
So many varied builds, especially with the three advance rate.
True. Yeah.
So DK dropped. I know we primarily do underdog. DK dropped its site.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have rankings for them. What's crazy though is their rake is 17%, I believe, which is like
really high.
that is like pretty outrageous.
I saw they dropped like some $1 contests and stuff. That's fun.
No, but yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do the big board equivalent they have. But I mean, 17%. People ask me why I passed on Burrow because he went at pick 60 to the Chase Brown drafter. So I didn't pass on him. He just got taken.
This sucks. Because I don't really want to take another rookie wide receiver here. I mean, I'm going to, but I don't.
I think this is a great range to take wide receivers. I don't know why not.
Well, when you already have, so I already have Tet, and I have a double stack set up with the Chicago guys. So I only have one quarterback live stacked. So
well, with Tet and Burden, you're live for Herbert. May,
yeah, I mean, I do that so often. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I just take this quarterback, and then in a theoretical universe where he's a Charger, then I have my perfect stack. This is not true, man. You just start Burrow at 4-5 turn is frankly terrible.
I don't need. Yeah, I mean, Burrow, I've gotten him plenty of times at pick 72. It's simply where his ADP is going to go. It's totally fine to not get him, right? Like, and I'm not willing to pass on a 4-5 player for Burrow when other people.
And there are enough teams too. Like I've seen Burrow makes it to the Chase or T drafter at 6-7. What, I don't know, 10% of the time.
I've gotten it several times with T.
Yeah, it happens. It happens often enough that should be your plan. And you don't. And T and Chase can be the guy you need in week 17 without Burrow. I mean, you would prefer to have Burrow, but they certainly do not need a Burrow.
Where are you at on Burden, Amika, and Golden?
I'm a Burden guy over Igbuka by a lot. Now, again, the Burden thing is the same thing, or the Golden thing is the same thing as Najee. It's like I was taking Golden was like my most drafted wide receiver in the hundreds. So I'm letting, not that I'm not taking him now.
Yeah, it's not a crazy jump though. 100 to 80.
Yeah, I mean it's 2 rounds ish. I'm taking him less now than I was when he was going after downs. I was taking him every time he was there, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, the truth is on Amika, Burden, Golden, it will be draft capital landing spot for me.
For sure.
Currently, what I hear most is that like Amika, most people have as 2, not including Hunter. Burden 3, Golden 4, but it seems like it's a wide range, right? And like,
I mean, a couple of the scout people have said Golden. I think McShay was the one who said he thinks Golden, or teams are telling him Golden's going to be the first wide receiver drafted. Now, I don't think that's going to happen.
Like stuff like that, they're just being like, and I have Judkins as my RB1 in the class. It's like, all right, dude, I'm sure you do in early March.
I mean, I want to know that stuff. I'm not going to take it as gospel, but I want to know at least what NFL teams are putting out as a smokescreen.
So I'm pretty stackless here too, but I'm not too worried about it.
Damn, I was gonna double tap Knicks if he got there. I mean, it's fine, dude. You have Igbuka. He could be anything. Igbuka. He could be.
He's Herbert, man.
He could be. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with this. I think Golden at wide receiver 1 would be Ruggs level of dumb. But hey, AD Mitchell without diabetes is a good player. AD Mitchell was like 9th in the NFL in targets per route run last year, was top 10 in win rate. I mean, he's a huge dick and his teammates don't like him and his team doesn't like him, but he is good at football. My synopsis of how I look at the big board differently than BBM is this is like basically not a real contest, and I'm just drafting players that I like. it's $1,500. It's crazy top heavy.
I mean, the info is different. It's incredibly top heavy, yes. So like, I mean, I want to be stacking in everything, but definitely in this, and a lot of people don't stack, which is a bad thing and an edge to those who do, I believe. I'm not as worried about in the big board for whatever reason about like people who drafted early and like what they could get.
Yeah, the insane CLV from the first week of the contest or whatever. Like there are some crazy teams, but they're also, they missed out on a lot of information that we like these teams in January. There's so much they missed out on.
Well, yeah, that's like I just think the info edge you get in the big board is arguably even bigger than you get in Best Ball Mania, where there's free agent info you get there, and so many of the rookies are just mispriced either way. Where I'm just not worried about like what people could get. Like some guy earnestly asked me, "Am I upset I didn't max the big board before free agency?" And I was like, "No, dude, not at all." And things are moving a lot through this. So like that is something I do keep in mind for Best Ball Mania, depending how much a player moves. But I'm not as concerned about it for this. And other than that, most Best Ball is pretty similar. The three people advance also changes things a little bit. And I'm definitely varying my builds a lot.
I'm not varying my builds I'm varying my builds in terms of what direction of players. Like, am I taking running backs early? Am I taking wide receivers? Like, whatever, I'm doing that. The structure is pretty much, I don't know, 80% 3, 6, 8, 3, basically.
Yeah, I mix that up way more. Like I'll do some early running back picks. I'll do some 6 wide receiver builds and stop at 6. I'll do late quarterback. I like a lot of 2 quarterback. Almost everyone wants to do 3. And so when I get 2 in this, this range here from the 7 to 10, the Mayfields, the Herberts, I'll simply stop at 2 and hope that I have the 2 that pair it up, where other people always want the quarterback usually. I'll do some 2 tight end builds as well when I get like 2 from the Jonnu tier. And I definitely think some players are just mispriced for whatever reason. So pretty okay hammering them in the big board.
Yeah, I'm totally cool hammering bad prices. Like in fact, I think it's probably optimal. You're going to see some of the worst default prices in this contest, just because there's anchoring effect. The original thing that is anchored on is worse. I mean, frankly, there are still anchoring effects from January from Hayden's ranks of the contest, from like Hayden's like Woody Marks still has an ADP despite really looking like an undrafted free agent running back, because Hayden had him in the 140s to begin with.
Okay, the question is, who is more likely to sign with the Patriots, Stephon Diggs or Keenan Allen? I could see both.
I would argue Diggs.
Yeah, I think Diggs too.
Yeah, he feels more of a great fit Patriots.
I don't know. It's like I could see Diggs with the Chargers. Nice thing about May too is you don't need him stacked, right? With the running.
True. I might just snap off Fields here. Got Caleb. Yeah,
I don't have him ranked too much later than this.
I don't either. Yeah, I actually have him ranked 2 spots ahead of this. So
I have him ranked like right behind Tua, because I don't know. They both have their risks. So if I knew Fields was starting 17 weeks, I'd have him ahead of Tua. But maybe I'd put him one spot ahead of Tua.
I mean, in terms of who you want naked, I mean, it's not even like Tua. If you don't have Tyreek or Waddle, I guess Jonnu. Like what is the path to naked unstacked Tua winning you the big board? You know, it's like I mean, I guess he could advance you there. He could score his.
No, not for you. I'm just saying as far as like where I valued Fields, because I don't like. Some people are gonna be like Fields should go ahead of Purdy, Goff, Kyler, Mahomes, and
if you knew he was locked into 17 games, he should. But
I don't even know if that's true. It's not like these other guys can't give you 30 points, and it's not like Fields has never been like he has a decent floor. He doesn't have he doesn't consistently hit a huge ceiling.
Well, Liam, that is just simply not true.
All right. How many starts did he have the past 2 years, and how many times did he go over 30 points?
I can pull up his game logs. I know that in 2022, he ran for 1,100 yards and 8 touchdowns.
2022 is a different era of football where they don't play this cover 2 eyes on the quarterback stuff anymore.
Fields averaged 17.7 points per game in 2023,
which is less than Jared Goff averaged this past year.
And then I got to look at the game logs because
that's like less than Goff, less than Mayfield, less than Purdy. You know,
I mean, just the idea that Justin Fields does not have a giga ceiling is
that's not what I said. I said he doesn't consistently hit his ceiling. If they're going to,
well, that doesn't matter for this game, right?
It does matter if a team is going to play Fields as the game manager, where we're running the ball, we're churning out first downs, we're not turning it over, risk adverse. That is just not a great fantasy formula, you know? If they're going to be like, whatever, dude, go win us the football game, do whatever needs to happen, that is a good fantasy formula. So who knows what the Jets are going to do? But I don't know. I just view him as similar as these guys, not as like a tier above.
I'll give you this. He will probably have more like 12-point games than CJ Stroud, although I guess CJ Stroud was like giga terminal ass last year. But let's call Tua will probably have more games.
Jordan Love, whatever you want to do there.
Jordan Love, sure. But if I had to choose which one of these guys is most likely to get me an uncorrelated 30-pointer 2 times, week 15, 16, 17, I'm taking Fields over everyone in that range.
Yeah, Fields in the Detroit Dome gave us some huge games that one season, right? Fields in the Jets, we'll see. I don't know. Like, look, he's a fine pick. I still think the Jets are quite likely to draft someone. Ugh, the Kincaid at 142.
Worst case scenario for me, this would actually like murder me, would be if they take Dart. If the Jets take Dart and Fields starts 8 games and Dart starts 8 games, I will not win the big board probably.
Yeah, but they're not going to take Dart at 6 or whatever. Like, that's not happening, is it?
I don't know, man. Kind of the way these dudes are talking out here.
I mean, kind of forced to go naked Dak when he's there at 144.
Oh yeah, I almost took him. I almost took Dak at 123.
Going after McCarthy, Penix, Tua simply shouldn't be the case for him. Diggs to the and I'm live for Diggs to the Patriots or Diggs to the Cowboys.
Diggs to the Cowboys. Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was shocked Joey Bosa didn't sign with the 49ers. I'm happy just because simply removing Von Miller, who, yes, he gets a lot of pressures, but as someone who watches those games, there are a lot of pressures where you just run past the quarterback, almost like he's like trying to like game the pressure stat. I don't have Javonte ranked this high. This is, I don't know, taking him there. I have him ranked around like the Algier world.
I guess this is where I'm at. He's probably a shitty pick and probably is totally dust and is like Carlos Hyde or whatever, like just basically like a guy who doesn't matter. But if he was healthy, like if his knee returned to form, he could totally do what Dowdle did last season. Like, he just could replicate the same season. And the funny thing is, we all, buddy, it's not an ETR drafter, it's me. It's literally not an ETR drafter, Michael. It's literally me. I just took Javonte at 147. So my thing is that the Cowboys, despite us all saying like, oh, dude, they're taking Genty. I mean, we all thought that last year. We all thought
they pretty much said that though. They pretty much said this year that like I think someone said that like, yeah, we didn't sign Rico, but I don't know.
They're definitely taking another running back
at pick 12.
I don't know. I don't know.
If you,
but I probably jumped the shark. I probably jumped the shark.
I have him ranked in the, the Algier, the Giddens, those type of dudes range. The Grendo, the Mason.
The Rico Dowdle thing went fine for them last year. The thing they did wrong was playing Zeke. Rico was totally fine for them last year. The issue
but
in their backfield
is the Zeke, right? Like, you're hoping for Javonte.
Javonte is the Zeke. Javonte is the Zeke.
Yeah. And like he's not too dissimilar from Eckler, just that we know he's going to be there. I mean, he could turn out great, but I don't know. I'm just operating with like no doubt about it. I actually have Dak stacked with Demario Hampton right now. Is how I'm operating this team.
I think that's fine.
Or Gene T. But if that happens, is what I wanted to ask you. How do you view Javonte then?
Oh, and then I'm over it. Then it's total dust.
I still think he's a fine pick then, right? Like running back.
I mean, he's a handcuff. Yeah, he's Trey Benson, right? Or well, he's I don't know, who's the dusty old handcuff running back. He's like Nick Chubb, I guess, or whatever. Like another guy whose best football is way behind him.
Well, Nick Chubb is we just don't even know what he is anymore.
Yeah. Damn, I ran out of wide receivers. This stinks. Oh, dude, what do I do? I
have no wide receivers really ranked.
Yeah, I'll take Algier. Yeah, I probably should have taken a wide receiver instead of Kincaid. I probably should have taken like Higgins or something there instead of Kincaid.
That was really nice value on Kincaid though.
Yeah.
Where are you at on Richardson with Daniel Jones there?
I moved him down. I mean, I'm still taking him some because the upside is the same as it was, but the thing that is in play now is he starts the season and then doesn't finish the season, which is just brutal.
Yeah, I think if you're being optimistic, you say that what do I want to do here? If you're being optimistic, you say that Jones is just there to motivate him. And, like they're just doing this to motivate him. He showed something and they know Jones isn't it. But
well, no, what you say is this is a quarterback competition he can actually win.
Yeah. And so I don't know though. Like, it's not something I'll do a lot. I think you can take him with Daniel Jones though. Like, you can go like Josh, Richardson, Jones. I don't want to do it though. It's mostly a stay away. Because he's like Fields too, where it's like, yes, he's a fine fantasy quarterback. He has big games, but it's not like he's like crushing every single week.
No, I mean his floor is even lower than Fields. His floor is terrible.
Yeah. That's like one of my first Kyle Pitts. I think it's a nice value. I think like Evan Ingram getting tanking in the market because he's not a Jaguar is confusing to me.
That is not confusing to me.
Well, if he lands with the Chargers, he's going to go like pick 100.
Yeah, but if he lands with like almost anyone else, he's a bad. Because the thing about Ingram is
if he lands with the Chargers or the Broncos, it will be viewed favorably.
I don't know. Would it be that viewed that favorably with the Broncos? Because the thing with the Broncos is they don't play anyone full time.
Dude, it's like Devont Valley. And no, because people are going to like cite, just like they cited like 20-year-old running back stats with Peyton. They're going to be like, the Joker role, man. The Joker role.
I mean, that's how they did their tight ends each year. They've had 3 tight end roles, and it's unlikely to me that he would consolidate one of those roles. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, dude, Courtland Sutton just put up an awesome season with Knicks. So, and if the Broncos
he's running
Sutton
like 97% of the routes. Say that again.
If the Broncos like have a really bad year, and they're staring down the barrel of like Knicks regressing, Sutton could be the Hopkins, the Cooper, the Tyreek Hill, like the guy who gets traded mid-year.
See, like Richardson at 186, like I mean, that is just a good pick.
Especially, yeah, as a third quarterback, it's fine.
Yeah. Speaking of third quarterbacks, I definitely need one right now. What makes the most sense? Fuck, this team sucks. I let it get away from me. Wandale is your wide receiver 7. You're not that happy about it. You know what? On this team, I'm just gonna take Shedeur. Whatever. Trying to even that out a little bit. I don't know if I want 37% Jackson Dart in the big board. You know what? This is what happened. The Kincaid fake value got me. It was the not even fake, but like I just like
he's drawing live to be a really good pick.
No, he is, but I already had a tight end that I like, and so I needed a wide receiver there more.
I'm gonna take Ollie Gordon.
I was gonna take him if you didn't. I think he's like a great stealer. Just like he would be a great fit next to Jalen Warren.
20 picks past ADP, like whatever.
I am not leaving Ollie Gordon for dead. 2 rookie. You know what? I'm gonna take Gabe Davis on this team.
Jeez, life comes at you fast. I didn't even realize Josh Palmer got drafted.
Josh Palmer's going in like I did one this morning. He went in the 15th round.
Yeah, I mean he's a pretty good pick. I don't think. Yeah, I mean I have him in this tier of like Yoshi Voss, etc.
I don't even have Yoshi Voss ranked.
That seems like a mistake to me.
What is the point? What is the point of Andre?
You don't value guys who can just like hit 25 points, but it's not predictable. Yoshi Voss should not be ranked in managed. In best ball, though, he's totally fine.
I guess. I don't know. What I don't value is I don't value guys who legitimately cannot earn targets. They have to be like it has to be given to them. That is true.
When asked about the other wide receivers on the roster, they did not mention Burton. They mentioned Yoshi Voss.
Oh yeah, Burton is in jail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yoshi Voss had some red zone run too.
Yes, sure. He had a 2-touchdown game, didn't he? Or I think maybe.
I don't think so.
He was out.
But, I mean, maybe he did. He's drawing very live to like be the Zay Jones, the guy who just gets you there.
He was one of the bottom 5. This is so funny because someone asked us about Jahan Dotson last week. The bottom 5 receivers in football in targets per route run: Jahan Dotson, Justin Watson, Jalen Hyatt, Yoshi Voss, Van Jefferson. Just wind sprinters.
Turpin got paid by the Cowboys, dude. He's a defensible.
See,
guy.
I would rather. There you go. I would rather have Turpin, because Turpin's the opposite. He never plays, but when he does play, he's getting the ball.
He has juice.
Yeah. I mean, really, that's all it is. Yoshi is juiceless, and I actually like.
Yoshi has juice, man. Maybe he went to Princeton. Like, maybe this is going to take him some time. Probably not.
He was a heptathlete, and he played. This is actually true. He played junior varsity football at Princeton for his first 2 years. Junior varsity Princeton football. Crazy. Wow. I hope Mr. D's, who's been auto drafting this entire draft, does not take Elijah Mitchell, so
it's
that
egregious
I can take him.
That they don't throw these people on auto draft.
Yeah, we're gonna double up on dusty running backs who signed $3.5 million contracts.
Jordan Whittington, the Jordan Whittington people, they had a nice month.
They did have
people that steamed him up to like the 130s.
We just got a comment. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team, which is the same thing as Yoshi Voss playing junior varsity football at Princeton.
There's never a team that you feel great drafting Michael Wilson on, but come on down, dude. Jordan
Whittington, legendary handcuff. This is actually true. Turpin was so Artillery Frost won one of the main BRs on a short game slate, and he was the highest scoring wide receiver on a 4-game slate, and he was so low owned that Artillery Frost won with Cooper Rush unstacked.
Hey,
D-Rob, you're living. You should have taken Yoshi too. What's your Curtis Samuel index now that they signed Palmer?
So I think he is behind everybody, and it's Palmer. It's So I think it's Palmer and Keon.
Turpin.
I think you seriously took Turpin, dude. If I didn't mention Turpin, there's no way you would have drafted him.
No, one of the guys in my Discord, Buck, is he's been literally for like the last 2 days just like talking about Turpin. So okay. I kind of have a mind bug. 3 years, $18 million for KaVontae Turpin.
Yeah, but that's not that much. No, yeah, I mean Curtis Samuel could still be something, but he should be going in these last rounds, because he could not be anything. Basically, they've replaced like Matt Collins with Palmer, who's like gonna be more target dominant, and they've replaced and Curtis Samuel, still Curtis Samuel, and maybe it's insurance for Curtis Samuel.
I would assume that probably is what it is, insurance for Curtis Samuel.
Well, but Josh Palmer does something that no one else on the Bills roster really did, which is like he beats man coverage, which isn't really like Shakir's game. Like all of them are kind of good at zone. I did
forget you have Dak.
I was done at wide receiver anyways. I would have taken Turpin there.
My apologies. By the way,
May and Dak, I'm rolling with 2, man. The 2.
What number big board is this for me? Big board 106. This is my 106 big board.
Actually, we'll see what makes it back to me here.
All right, and then we are about to hop in this next one. Just big board 107 of 150.
I'm approaching 50, so.
There you go. You're grinding, dude.
I did 50 total last year.
Are you going to max it?
Yeah, I think I will, assuming it times well.
All right. You know what? Andrews and Kincaid, I'm actually just going to take another wide receiver. Gonna vary
There's
it up
a lot of smoke
bit.
that Andrews is going to be cut by the Ravens. Are you buying that?
No, but if he does, he'll sign some. I mean, he's still very good. Who do I want to take? You know what? I might just take Tutu. Double up on the short kings. Triple up on the short kings. Yeah, I'm going to take Mr. Atwell. All right. Final team, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, Shadur Sanders, Saquon Barkley, Jonathan Taylor, Quinshawn Judkins, Javonte Williams, Tyler Algier, Elijah Mitchell, DJ Moore, Tet McMillan, Rome, Burden, Hollywood Brown, Wandale, Gabe Davis, Cavante Turpin, Tutu Atwell, Mark Andrews, and Dalton Kincaid.
So I was going to stop at 2 QBs, but Derek Carr went after Daniel Jones in that draft, and I have Rashid Shaheed. So, I mean, Derek Carr is a winner from free agency. He got paid.
Derek Carr, huge winner from free agency.
I know, but he nearly went undrafted there.
All right, we join this draft in progress. We already started. I took Barkley at 2. Liam took Puka Nacua at 1.7. There you go. So we are now in for big board 107 of 150. So I don't have that many left, brother. We are almost done. Gonna have to start thinking about streaming some other stuff. We're gonna have to start streaming some hoops. We're gonna have to stream some little boards. Maybe I'll have to farm the chat for super chats to film or to stream some bigger boards or some biggest boards. But yeah, it is March 12th and I'm about done. Yeah, we are. Yeah, asterisk Pete is euphoric, down to 148.9 stream drafts. Little board is slow only. I did not know that. No, it's not. I'm looking at it right now, Mr. Dab K. I still have the option to do fast. Best Ball Mania will come out the Monday after the NFL draft. It does. Contests do go to slow only when there's only so many of them left.
Well, I believe what they do is they have a set amount of slows and a set amount of fasts.
Yeah.
At launch.
Oh, yeah. That would make sense. All right.
And maybe they can convert some.
Barkley in
you were funny, dude. You wanted to go Jefferson at 3 there, and you went Saquon, and then you just took Saquon in this one.
I didn't realize I was on the clock.
Oh, you
this one
okay.
It filled really fast. Yeah. Yeah, they will put up a little board too. It'll probably be smaller, has less time to fill. Yeah. Little board was slow only all day yesterday. So they ran out of their allocation of them.
See, this like JSN at pick 19. That's probably a no for me, dog.
Yes. Yeah. I would not be taking JSN over Lad, I think. I don't know, man. Maybe
I'm just okay having 0 JSN at this price.
I don't want 0 of JSN.
Where are you at on Tyreek Hill? Best pick, worst pick?
He's like fine. You gotta run.
Choose one. Is he the best or the worst?
He's the best. If I had to choose one of the two, he's the best because he's still Tyreek Hill. But I mean, I think we all knew, that the Tyreek Hill Black Marble season is gonna be horrible. Like if you think Tyreek was bad last year, no, it could be so much worse.
Anyone who's played fantasy football for a long time, if you don't have any Tyreek CMC teams, just like collections of first round picks of years past, you got to do that.
You got to do it. All right. I don't even like T, but
I like the Kyron quote unquote reach here for uniqueness by Ranger Rick.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is is if you're going to draft 2,000 fantasy football teams the way that I am, sometimes you just got to take guys you don't like. I don't really like Tyreek. I mean, Tyreek is totally fine where he goes. I don't really like T. I don't really like Barkley, but I don't want the entire enjoyment of football this year for me to be ruined. Like, do you guys have any idea how much I love football and how brutal it was to not enjoy football last year? Like, that sucked. Like, I love football. My whole life and year and week and a whole day of the week, Sunday, revolves around
lesson, man. You just got to get teams to the weeks up. Jonathan Taylor was who you needed, not Saquon.
Both of them together, pretty nice.
Didn't win.
Could have though. Could have won.
Yeah, just because Trey McBride's usually not here, and I'm a Trey McBride brand guy, you get the Puka Trey stack too. A little division.
Thought you weren't a Trey McBride guy, bro.
I just think that the tight ends are expensive based on what you can get late in drafts. Like even Mike Gesicki, dude. Like you feel good about Mike Gesicki. Do you feel good about Andre Yoshivas? No. So, and I'm the OG Trey McBride guy. I literally won contests his rookie year, and last year's on my finals team.
You definitely feel. I think the thing is, and maybe this is fake. Like I feel okay about the late tight ends, but I feel okay about the late tight ends every year, and then they always suck. You know,
I feel better about the tight ends this year in the middle to late. Like I think Jonnu is like crazily undervalued.
Jonnu, Warren, Njoku, Kelsey tier. I'm like, I don't know. Probably the guy you need is in there.
Dude, Jonnu's drawing live to outscore Bowers and McBride. Would that be that crazy? The man had 180 points last year.
I think I would fade that.
But 88 catches, 900 yards, 8 touchdowns.
A lot of that was the product of the offense, though, and they're going to have a different.
Yeah,
they're going to have a different offensive line. I think. I mean, if Mike McDaniel, I think, is going to prove himself to be a bit of a fake sharp if the offensive plan revolves around Jonnu. You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't be shocking for Jonnu to go to 0, but it kind of would be because he's just a really good yak tight end, big play, touchdowns, so I don't know. I'd rather bet on Jonnu than Mark Andrews easily.
Oh, this is a good question. I'm pretty sure Jonnu's older than Mark Andrews.
Doesn't
Jonnu 29 in 202 days. Mark Andrews 29 in 187 days. Jonnu Smith older than Mark Andrews.
Doesn't look it, man.
I guess he doesn't. He doesn't look it. He doesn't have type 1 diabetes, so maybe that makes things a little bit different.
That
but
Miami sun will keep you young compared to the cold of Baltimore.
I think it's hard for me to tell if this is intentional, and I wasn't paying attention if this guy's on auto draft, but I've been seeing a lot of this double elite quarterback stuff.
Because I did it on stream that one time. I think single elite is fine. Double I would very rarely do. It's not terrible. It's not necessarily good. I don't want to be fading these 3rd and 4th round players too much, but that's just me.
Yeah.
I see some drafts where like several people go 4 quarterback.
I did one this morning. I filmed a little board for a video. And someone took 5 quarterbacks.
I've thought about the 5 QB build. You would do it like a 5. It'd
be like your final 5 picks.
Your final 5 picks are quarterback, right? And then you like open your draft with you go like 6 wide receivers to start, Then you go 6 running backs. Then you go 3 tight ends,
5 quarterbacks.
5 quarterbacks.
It would be a good bit.
5, 6, 6, 3. I mean, it's not crazy. I did do the math one year, just doing random iterations of 4 QB versus 3 to see how many total points it added. The answer is it added almost 0 points, 4 versus 3. Just like, however, if we pretend that a Jaden Daniels or Justin Fields exists amongst the Derek Carrs of the world, then possibly it would. But really, it's only adding it because you hit that player. It's not adding it when you take, like, if you could just have 5 guys like Derek Carr, it's really not all that different than having 3 of them, or 4 that was. But I don't know about 5. I would assume it's the same.
The thing is the reason why quarterback is particularly bad to do more than 3 is because you're just never getting it. They can't contribute in the flex. Like, theoretically, if you took 5 tight ends, you could get 2 of the scores in the same week. Like, if they both nutted out, and obviously 5 tight ends is terrible too. But I mean, Dan Zach, and I don't know shit about the math that he was doing, but Dan Zach sim said he, in his simulations, the 4 tight end stuff did add points.
I started 4 tight end, but I don't know. I don't feel as good about it. Last 4 picks tight ends is like always a viable strat for 20 rounds.
Sure. Yes. And better on DK with like full PPR and stuff too, as well.
This just feels really good. Like this type of start I have where you get like Puka, AJ Brown, you get a wide receiver in the JMO tier. You get Olave. Trey McBride can be whoever. In this case, he's a tight end. He could be a running back. But hitting the tail end of like the Waddle Olave tier
is nice
instead of the Judy, Jenny,
I agree.
Debo tier feels good.
I agree, and I like Puka, AJ Brown, Trey McBride, JMO, Olave. I like strength on strength. I have Barkley, Reek, Higgins, Hampton, Tet. I'm pretty. I mean, I started out lower than consensus on Hampton, but that is looking like what do they call it? Freezing cold take. I mean, it's just not gonna happen. Hampton is gonna be a very important part of the story this year in fantasy football.
I really want to know where Johnson, Henderson, and Judkins end up. That is like a big question mark for me.
Johnson, I think, is probably getting dinged too much by the combine. He was a comparative loser, but he's still going to be at least a 2nd-round pick, I think. And, I don't know shit about watching film. I certainly don't know, how an NFL scout was, but he looks awesome to me. He looks like the full package from Iowa. He's got breakaway. He can break. I mean, he's a big dude.
Charger.
And Hampton looks pretty good too. Maybe not, frankly, to me, not quite as good as Caleb. Caleb looked better to me on film than Hampton did, but that's why I am a very lowly compensated best ball streamer and not Mel Kiper. They don't pay me to think.
Mel Kiper, man, legend.
58 for Pickens. I mean, that's probably about right.
This is where he was going already. He needs to fall from there. I have him ranked closer to the 6-7 turn.
I mean, I would definitely take Waddle over him.
Yes.
RB6 of the class. My stubborn take is that it's Devin Neal. I think that is going to prove to be,
dude. That people are falling over themselves to take him.
Yeah, I think it's probably Devin. It would be hilarious if it was Savion. It would be I mean, I've been enamored with Savion for a while, but would actually be crazy for the big board if he does end up getting drafted as a running back because you can get his points at wide receiver. Some team might draft him as a running back. I mean, I would if I was in charge of an NFL team, I would draft him as a running back.
You think the Raiders are going to take Gene T?
It's definitely live.
We really bad team building, but
The thing that might save them from themselves about that is that they hired Chip Kelly, and he's got his 2 Ohio State guys that he can. I think they pick at 39, I believe.
Was Kelly with Ohio State?
Yeah, he was the offensive coordinator for
Uh,
all of Travion Henderson's career, I think. So that could yeah, and I would accept Gidden being better than Neal. Giddens is a really, really good player. He helped himself out a lot at the combine too.
Yeah, I'm just like these Judkins, these Hendersons, they're either the best picks or the worst picks because
All right. I was wrong. Chip Kelly was only there for 1 year. I was wrong.
Because you got to fade the David Montgomerys, the James Connors, the Alvin Kamaras, the Ken Walkers.
I took Pearsall there to give myself a quarterback because I only have 2 alive right now, and I didn't want to take Igbuka. And I actually, frankly, I need to move Jayden Reed down a little bit. I don't believe in that ranking, really.
I believe in Jayden Reed because I believe in Jordan Love.
If you believe, I mean,
back-to-back seasons of like 180 points.
Yeah. He just has. I guess the floor is just really low.
Literally was a second-round pick in resurrection drafts.
I know. That's so funny.
So I don't know, man. I'm into Reed. I'm not quitting that.
All right, I'll take him. There you go. Give myself. I don't. The thing. It's maybe not even believing in Reed or Love. It's more about LaFleur just wanting to fucking call run plays. The guy just loves to call run plays. And Josh Jacobs being like, we need a wide receiver 1, which like totally matches with what you think about their. You watch them play.
They're gonna try to get Burden or Golden or Ibuka. Like they're gonna try to get one of those, but it's like he's competing with currently Dobbs. Kraft is a nice talent. He's competing with Christian Watson, who will not be returning, and then he's competing with Wicks. So are they drafting 5 wide receivers? Because seems pretty appropriately priced.
Man, they should have matched that price on DK Metcalf. He's like a good fit for Jordan Love too. Like it just to go, Love loves to do those, back foot down the field, let your guy go try and get it throws that Wicks is terrible at because he can never catch the ball. That's like DK Metcalf's thing. And maybe it was just that Love never really recovered from that knee injury. He might not have.
Yeah, that's what I believe. And I like DK Metcalf, but $150 million is a lot of money for.
Hey, in this economy, man, the cap keeps coming up. $150 million for DK Metcalf might look like an absolute value in 2 years.
I think Jayden Reed perfectly fits best ball scoring too. You like play, like people are being like, oh, he only plays X amount of snaps. I like a guy that can go 5, 10, 30, 30, 5, 10, 30, 30,
Probably no one cost me more money in BRs than Jayden Reed. And Debo.
DFS too last year, yeah.
Jayden Reed and Debo just fucking killed me.
No, they're gonna I think Golden BRs makes sense for them. Their pick what? Their pick
24, I think. NFL, the Packers pick at 23.
Yeah,
that's well in the Golden range.
That's the Golden Igbuka Burden range.
Feels like the Texans are big Igbuka team. Went to CJ Stroud and Igbuka were teammates. Garrett Wilson
and if they pass on him, that's pretty bad for Igbuka. Like if they take someone else.
Yeah, the Cowboys passing on Jonathan Brooks. Real Wintour situation there. His doctor did the surgery on Jonathan Brooks' knee, and they said, we're good, bro.
Another big winner of free agency to me so far, Chase Brown.
Oh, yes. Massive.
P. Ryan being the... I think he is a huge winner. defensible over Brees. Could they still draft someone? Yes, but
no, but giant, like, because if they had even signed Javonte, it would at least be evidence that they're not comfortable.
He'd be a winner with that one too to me.
No, because it would be evidence that they were not comfortable with his production on the ground. But bringing in Perine says, at the very least, we are comfortable with you on early downs, I think.
Warren also a winner. Kenneth Gainwell signed.
Yeah. Yeah, Warren, I mean, Kenneth Gainwell is just shitty Jalen Warren.
Yeah. They're going to draft someone too, probably.
Purdy. I was going to say.
I'm a little surprised the Bills brought back Ty Johnson just because they have 10 picks in the draft.
They like him. Yeah.
You have 10 picks in the draft.
Jason Light responded to there was a fake report that the Buccaneers signed Samaje Perine for 3 years, $22 million. And Jason Light, the Bucs GM, quote tweeted the tweet with, "No, we did not." Shipley. I mean, the Eagles, I don't even know how many picks the Eagles have. They probably have about 1 million.
No, he's a guy I draft quite a bit. He still probably requires an injury, right? So.
Oh, well, yes. 100%. How many picks that's actually I have no
idea.
But
taking the backup to Saquon is a good pick.
The Eagles 2025 draft picks. They have 4 fifth-round picks. So they're definitely going to add a running back with one of those picks. Or not definitely, but I'd say they're likely. I mean, Shipley was a 5th-round pick. So Shipley is definitely not a better handcuff than Algier.
Shipley was a 4th, I think.
Was he?
Yeah. He went in that same range with like Bucky, Ray Davis. This is why I was so into him last year. He was a 4th-round pick.
Yeah, 127th overall. You're right. I'd kind of forgotten that.
And he had some juice last year.
Did he? Did Will Shipley have juice? He had the one good run.
On the very few, he didn't have as much juice as Saquon.
Yeah, he did have that one really nice run. I took Njoku over Mark Andrews there just because I've taken Mark Andrews in 3 straight drafts, and I'm just getting a little
that
sick
definitely
of it.
feels like something you should be doing. I mean, if you made me choose one, I would choose. This is gross. We're gonna take Travis Hunter. Why not?
Someone's been watching Pete's video on the Deposit Kingdom. Pete's
that
so
would
funny.
Make a lot of sense if like 2 weeks before that I didn't tell you I'm really into Travis Hunter. I want to be making the bet on him.
It's so funny. Pete's video on the Deposit Kingdom, it doesn't even have that many views. I think it has like 1,000 views. But since that video came out, it's up like his ADP is up like 20 spots because the fucking nerd virgins who are drafting in this contest all watch his videos. There was like a week where you could get Hunter in the 130s.
Way longer than a week.
Feels bad to not have loaded up there.
No, yeah, I ranked Hunter here pretty soon. The 100s, the 114. Still could burn you, but it's not like Cooper Kupp can't burn you. It's not like Marvin Mims can't burn you. So
Marvin Mims can burn you if you're not taking him. Marvin Mims is awesome, dude. In my opinion.
There. You're not worried about Devon Valley?
No, I've actually there's never been a player who I've been asked about more in a stream than Devon Vele. I mean, he truly, like, Devon Vele is I think 7 years older than Travis Hunter.
500 yards and 3 touchdowns.
There you go. Christian Kirk, 9th round. I mean, I get it.
That's where I have him ranked. I have
him ranked there now, but I just can't get him there that often. You Coolers, you would be surprised. Like the Sunday morning DFS streams that I do, people would be like, dude, Devon Vele. Devon Vele, 3,700. I'm like, I don't know. Probably not. Then I'd lose. All right.
What's nice about this is I got the Drake made a Hunter stack, potentially.
It is. I mean, Hunter is the guy you wish you knew what team he was on the most.
He's a giant, or he's. See, I kind of did that because I was like, I've already done this a lot, and I knew this guy would do it, and I wanted to. This team needs a running back, so.
Marvin Mims was playing more than 30% of the snaps when he broke out, and he was also 9th in the NFL in yards per route run. So,
where are you at on Travis Etienne?
I took a bunch of him early, and he was like my second most drafted player or second most.
And then
drafted
you were like,
running
"Whoa,
back
I
for a while.
need Jesus!"
And then I was like, "Terrible. This is terrible." Like basically, I like looked at his stats from last year, and I'm like, "No, gotta."
I have him ranked one spot behind Brian Robinson. Where I mean, both of them have risk. This price with Brian Robinson assumes that the Commanders are drafting a stud.
Yeah.
Which is possible, right? They seem like the team that could, like, they should sign J.K. Dobbins.
Who?
The Commanders.
I mean, it's like it's a tough
Eckler with him.
It's a tough spot for anyone with any of those marginal veteran running backs, because I'm like, God, why would I give J.K. Dobbins any money when I could just take R.J. Harvey? You know, I get why NFL teams would be hesitant to do that.
Well, because teams don't. I mean, first off, J.K. Dobbins is going to cost like $2 million.
Sure.
So he's free.
Yeah.
Second off, teams don't like to go into drafts with like holes on the roster if they can avoid it. Right? And like you sign J.K. Dobbins for $2 million and then you draft R.J. Harvey and you like him better. See you later, J.K.
Think about teabagging time. I need you to think about what you just said and then think about what the RR in YPRR stands for. Just think about it. Go to your do your what does the RR in YPRR stand for, and then come back to me. I took Tua there. I didn't really want to, but he was not going to be there for me at 143, and I have Tyreek. I actually was thinking about maybe taking Dak, but
he's a guy who actually makes it back all the time to the 140s. Tua.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I'd have to look.
It is random though.
What does the Waddle team have at quarterback?
See, people are in a competition to see who could draft two in the highest.
Yeah. Waddle team only has one quarterback and picks twice before me. I mean, maybe I would have gotten him, but whatever.
He's a fine pick there where you're like, whatever.
I mean, you're not slam dunking it. Shit. I mean, maybe frankly, maybe I should have just taken Tootin.
That's why I think it's happening, because you look at this range. I don't know.
Exactly. I mean, I look at this running back range. So
like Bateman's a pretty, Bateman's there. Like Diggs is here.
But the running backs. You look at these. You Neal, Spears, Dowdle, Benson, Rashad White is dead, dude. For sure, Rashad, it's over. Oh, Rashad White is fine. He's fine.
I was gonna do one of these wide receivers, but I'm gonna do Kraft. McBride and Kraft, call it a day.
McBride and Kraft, yeah, you can call it a day.
Just to stick it to this 3 quarterback dude. He just slammed his keyboard.
Yeah, it's true. Marvin Mims would be if you take away Marvin Mims' 90-yard touchdowns, it's true. His stats were not very good. I'll absolutely give you guys that if Marvin Mims did not have a 30-point game, he would have had less fantasy points. Tootin is a novelty pick.
I mean, if we never saw Achane, Tootin would be in the 200s. But people, like, the way people's brains work is they're just like, cool, Achane.
I mean, they're not even similar at all, though.
No, they both had, like, good RAS profiles, some juice to their game.
Tootin weighs 20 pounds more.
Well, yeah, that's what I've heard, but that's what I've heard about him. He's Achane but heavier.
It is. I mean, I guess people did just say that because they literally put up like the same. I don't know. Let's see if what sim score can I get for Tootin here in a 4.32. Didn't run a 3 cone. I assume the it's all anchoring. It's all anchoring effect on Scatabo, I think.
He could go higher than you think.
The jumps were good. Actually really good.
I mean, look, Kyron Williams, Bucky Irvings. Go ahead and look at those guys' combine.
Right, but you don't care about the actual combine. What you care is what his draft capital is going to be, and
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
he put himself in a different realm of like he could easily be a 2nd round pick now.
Scatabo?
No, Tootin. Scatabo, I would be surprised if he was a 2nd round. He could be though. Some team might like him. Best comp for Tootin.
This is a good team to take Fields on that I just did. I'm setting up for some later quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, that's a smash for you. I think I almost took Fields with my last pick. Top comp in the RotoViz box score scout for Tootin is Cam Akers, which feels you'd be happy with him at pick 123 or whatever.
It's this whole range of running backs: Ramondre, Swift, Scatabo, Etienne, B-Rob, Pacheco, J.K. Dobbins,
Tootin, Tagovailoa. That's
Tank.
funny.
Like all these guys is like, yeah, who do we want here?
Yeah. I mean, it's like that you're just playing rookie roulette or landing spot roulette.
No,
I think you'd have a hard time proving this. I want to say Jalen Warren was a good RAS guy.
Elite agilities.
Yeah. All right. I got pretty dunked on at running back here. You know what? I take like none of this guy, but Dolphins haven't signed a guy.
I take him. I don't understand why you don't like Tajay Spears though.
Feels like a guy who's pretty likely to get competition in the draft. Maybe not though.
I don't think they're gonna get cut. I mean, he's just like the same thing as last year.
Is there a wide receiver I'm missing? No. God damn, wide receiver is brutal here. I don't really need a wide receiver either. I went super heavy. All right, Liam.
Don't take him, dude. Don't take him. Let him get back to me now.
I don't know if you psyoped me into taking him, but there you go, Tajay Spears.
No, I think Spears is like, first of all, the dream is like Russ lands there. You know, I think the Titans are going to be the Cam Ward team, though.
You think they just stay at 1 and they just take him?
Yeah, I do. Because how do you sell that to your owner? Yeah, we're going to go into the season with Russ. The owner's gonna be like, no, dude, roll the dice. And it's probably a bust and you're fired, but whatever.
Yeah. You're probably fired. You're probably, it feels like you're less likely to get fired if you take the defensive end and he's good, right? Don't you think?
No, because
I was gonna say I feel like you're probably fired either way.
No, but if you take the defensive end and you win, like, you know, you just don't win enough games, they'll be like, okay, you suck. You know,
yeah,
we have no hope.
The defensive end. I mean, I feel like you're more likely to get.
You need job security to draft.
If you take Carter and Ward is good, you're turbo fired. Yes. That is a good point. You're super fired. Yeah.
Liam Ford feels like a tier. Like I used to have Rashad White in this range, but I think with the reports that Sean Tucker could be a thing, that's not great for White.
No. I mean, the deal with Rashad White is he was good for fantasy as a rookie because he got all the work. But when you're not an efficient guy and you kind of just slog around, you need like so much work to be a cromulent fantasy back.
At the same time, Bucky, even though he's like awesome, is drawing incredible. Like he's just like a favorite to get hurt.
He's 185 pounds.
Yeah, so a room of Bucky or Rashad White and Sean Tucker splitting the workload at some point this year, quite live.
I really liked Sean Tucker as a prospect, and I know
I did too. I had so much of him that year.
Yeah, it's like 9 years ago. But Liam is keeping the Jerome Ford bit alive. He's explosive. He can make it all for you on 4 carries. Probably the starting running back for Cleveland, you know.
He was on like 250 finals teams last year. Just need him to pay off week 16.
Yeah, he had a really good spike week in week 16, right? He had like 19 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thesis last year was just correct that Chubb was done. Because Chubb was done.
Yes.
This year, I think it's not as good a bet. But at the same time, he goes, like, when Trey Benson and Blake Corum are 2 of the running backs that go off the board next.
Right.
And
they're just pure handcuffs.
Yeah, and it's possible you are simply the starter. Seems fine on a team that needs some running back points.
Yeah. I don't really know what I need next. I haven't taken a wide receiver since round 7. That's a long detour.
There's a reason there.
Yeah, I mean the wide receivers, like, for me, after Hollywood Brown goes, you could argue the wide receivers in any order. You could be like, actually, you should be taking Jalen Knoll next, and I'd be like, sure, whatever. I don't disagree with that.
Matt Stafford to pair with Puka.
That's nice. Getting him in the 14th round is nice.
He's never been that good at fantasy, but
with
Adams, maybe he is, you know.
Well, it's like, I don't know, man. Somehow it's like the week 11 game or whatever, where it was like it was only his second ever 4 touchdown game as a Ram. Just like somehow they just do not get him big fantasy numbers despite him like playing well.
You could see a freak season though. Like after years of Stafford having bad fantasy seasons, you could like whatever Kyron
he could run hot. Yeah.
And like Puka stays healthy. Adams gets 10 touchdowns, whatever. You could see some freak like QB 10 season.
Wide receiver 2 on the Seahawks is one of the Ohio or Iowa State rookie guys.
Luther Burden.
Yeah. Jalen Knoll.
I don't think it's Jake Bobo.
I've taken Bobo a couple times, but maybe because he's like
that
rotational.
Doesn't seem right to me, but
he stinks. But I've taken him round 20. He's going to be on the team. It would be very hard for them to cut him. Oh man, Polar Dog, don't do it. Don't do it, man. I need to set up. Yeah, I'm so light on Cam Ward, who I think is going to be quarterbacking David Njoku. I think he goes to the Browns. Maybe it's the Giants. I don't know.
I think it's the Titans.
It could be.
What's your don't talk about this year. What's your 3-year plan to be a Super Bowl team if you pass on the number 1 quarterback pick in this class?
It's a bad year.
Well, and let me say this. Many people are saying Cam Ward would have been QB 4 or 5 in last year's class.
Yeah.
However, the actual QB 4 and 5 in that class, Bo Nix and Michael Penix, were both good rookies, pretty much, right? Like Penix, not a huge sample on, but like, so if Cam Ward is Bo Nix or Michael Penix, that's a pretty good pick.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's a tough spot to be in organizationally if your evaluation is that Cam Ward is not worth the 101. Like, what do you do? Like if that is where they have
okay, but if they think he's worth the 106, then he is worth the 101.
Then you got to take him. Yeah.
Yes. If they think he's worth a second round pick, okay, that's a different
right. And the thing you can't do is like you can never trade down and take the quarterback. Like the optics of that are terrible, of like trading down. Like, oh, then you really didn't.
You just can't do it because you won't get him. The Giants will take him. The Giants are like dreaming to have Cam Ward at this point,
That's the thing, is it feels like the Giants are in way more of a pinch than the Titans are.
I know,
the
but
Titans haven't been bad that long. The Giants have been bad for like a decade.
Well, let's put it this way. If the Giants were picking at first, we would all just assume Cam Ward was a Giant.
Yes.
And if that's the case, I just don't see why the Titans are like, no, we don't need quarterbacks. Dog, you got Will Levis on the team and Mason Rudolph. You need a quarterback.
I really thought they'd go harder on Darnold, but I guess the Seahawks trading Geno just made that impossible. But that was what I thought would happen. Honestly, I don't know anything about next year's quarterback class. Let's look at the 2026.
I mean, is Manning for sure coming out next year either? Like, that's not a lock.
I mean, he has not started. Yeah, he's not started in college football. So we have the guy from Tennessee, Nico Iamaleava, Drew Aller. Aller is terrible. Lenore Sellers, Garrett Nussmeier. Yeah, it's not very good. Jackson Arnold, Haynes King. Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, and that makes the equation.
Sellers is okay. Sellers is all right. Nico is not the truth. No, this is not true.
Did you see the Patriots paid Josh Dobbs?
Yes.
So
2 years.
That's really confusing when you have Joe Milton, unless you're going to trade Joe Milton.
I mean, the thing is I know Joe Milton had that nice Week 18 game, but he was in college for like 6 years. And
yes, but
cheeks.
Like, dude, with the report, with the Josh Dobbs signing, why do you do all that? You simply having a quarterback room of May and Milton is fine. So why are you doing that?
I mean, maybe they just think Milton stinks.
They stink. They're not winning anything without.
I'm sure the Josh Dobbs contract is nothing. What
is 2 years, $8 million or something like that?
So that is quarterback 3 money. I mean, that is nothing, and they have $1 bazillion of cap space.
I'm gonna take Derek Carr to pair with Olave here.
Yeah, got to do it.
Well, he went undrafted in our last one, so it's like, would he have been there at the next one? Possibly.
I mean, these last picks. That's funny. He went. I did not notice that he went undrafted.
He went. Literally, someone took Daniel Jones over him, and then I took him.
Daniel Jones,
240.
Daniel
that's
Jones,
like when we jumped the shark, dude. The dude got $40 million a year, or whatever.
14. Oh, Carr got $40 million. Yeah. Daniel Jones is not even a good fantasy quarterback when he plays.
Yes, he is. He had that one.
He had that 1 year.
If you're holding on to the Fields 1,100-yard rushing year, you got to give credit to the Daniel Jones 800-yard rushing year.
I'm gonna fact check that. How many yards? I don't actually know how many.
He had like 800 plus almost. He was a 10th round pick the next year.
He had 700.
And how many touchdowns though? He had a lot of touchdowns.
7.
Yeah.
And
then he was like an 11th round pick the next year.
Not to me, he wasn't.
Well, to the market, he was.
What do I need? God damn. I hate this shit.
I think this is a good combo of like a Field, Stafford, Carr. You got two somewhat boring guys.
2 floor guys.
Who are going to be starting. And then you got Fields hopefully mixing in some spikes.
All right. Josh Palmer. There you go. 16th round pick, Josh Palmer.
I was maybe going to take him with my
man coverage goat.
He also a chief killer. They're signing the chief killers. Joey Bosa, Josh Palmer.
Players who played for have the Chargers ever beaten the Chiefs?
I don't know, but Palmer's like consistently had good games, and Joey Bosa's like consistently had big sack numbers against them.
Hey man, stay going for the number one spot. Chiefs defense loses Justin Reed, loses
You guys did what the Bills did though. You restructured Mahomes and Chris Jones today. Opened up like $50 million in cap.
Yeah, like $49 million. I hope we bring Tyreek back.
Worried. You guys were worried. You gotta I mean, you guys have been small losers of free agency so far.
I mean, they're whatever. They're not very good.
Yeah, it's fine.
They're not very. The thing is you can just not be very good, and it doesn't matter if you have Andy Reid and Mahomes. Frankly, I think Kelsey coming back for a year is like not the most ideal thing for them. Like to keep it 100.
Did you guys see who you signed
on offense?
Mr. 10 touchdowns, Robert Tonyan.
Oh no, that's really. They always do that. They brought in Herb Smith. They always bring in one dusty old guy. Tonyan is Tonyan. Good fit. Chiefs. Tonyan. I mean, frankly,
he looks to be drafting Noah Gray unless he's stacked like that. I don't
know. No. Spurious. No. Protein powder is not better than eating meat. You're much better off eating good American corn-fed or grass-fed beef.
Corn-fed. High fructose corn syrup fed.
Correct. Deafening silence. James, I don't know how to tell you this, but when you've won as much as the Chiefs have won, you don't need...
get your ass kicked so bad against the Eagles, things are tough.
The Eagles are rightful champions, and I like the Eagles. I think they do their business the right way. I think Howie's a great GM. I think Sirianni's kind of a lug, but I really like Jalen Hurts, and I really like AJ Brown, Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is such a sick player. There's just very few guys who are that size who are just like, yeah, dude, go win a deep ball. He's fucking awesome. I love Devonta Smith. He would be a great Chief. If he wants to play on an offense that throws the ball more often, we would love to have him in Kansas City.
I'm surprised Hollywood didn't get more money because it timed up. He signed the 1-year extension at the same time that Worthy was arrested, which is when I thought he had like max leverage. Yeah. But they probably knew that the Worthy arrested thing. He
got fucking De'Ami Brown money. 1 year, $10 million.
The other thing I like that the Bills do, or at least they're doing it past couple of years, is just give a bunch of 1-year contracts to guys. Like Nick Bosa, whatever. It's 1 year. Or Joey Bosa. So if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out.
1 year deals are what historically also when you pay your quarterback $1 billion, it just is easier cap wise to sign guys to 1 year deals. And when you're good, you're more likely to get guys like.
Well, that's how contracts have been moving. Like we used to get like 120 million 6-year deals. Like that was like 5-year deals, 6-year deals. Now it's like 3 years because pretty much after every 2 years, the salary caps move so much that like contracts need to be ripped up anyways.
Yeah. All right. 3 picks left. I've got
Dalton Schultz, man. Is there anything worse than just like clicking that? I used to be a Schultz guy. I'll do it still a little bit, but I'm just like, eh.
You're never excited about it. I've got a 3-5-7-2, Purdy with Pearsall, Tua with Reek, Cam Ward with Njoku, Barkley, Hampton, Wright, Spears, Damian Martinez, Reek, T, Tet, Pearsall, Reed, Iomanor, A.D. Mitchell, Njoku, Loveland. This one's all right.
I also have a 3-5-7-2. Field, Stafford, Carr, Judkins, Warren, B-Rob, Jerome Ford, Jordan Mason, Puka Nacua. Wow, Curtis Samuel, 18th round. A.J. Brown, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley, Travis Hunter. Gonna take Juwan Johnson to pair with Carr. Dalmy Brown, Trey McBride, and Tucker Kraft. Decided to go a third tight end.
Schultz is great for the inevitable late season Christian Kirk sublux shoulder. Yeah,
dude. Even if that happens, we saw that. That was like 5 targets.
Yeah,
25
literally
yards.
every Houston Texans pass catcher was dying in like absurd. Like Tank Dell got taken out by a practice squad wide receiver, and his career is probably over. And Dalton Schultz got out targeted by John Mechie the next week.
If I knew that Higbee was not like, if the Rams didn't sign Mark Andrews or whoever, maybe I would have paired Higbee with Stafford instead. But Juwan, man, he's a cromulent tight end.
I mean, I like Juwan better than I like Dalton Schultz.
It's very
people forget 2 BBMs ago he was the highest scoring Week 17 tight end.
Juwan, yeah.
Damn, if this is where the market settles on Elijah Mitchell, I am going to end up with a ton of him because I think worst case he's at least Pacheco's handcuff. I mean, they'll probably add a guy, so maybe he's the running back 3.
They're drawing very live to draft, like Caleb Johnson, Henderson, like
super live.
Yeah. No, I think he's a mix in for me. He's not like a slam dunk though. He's like in the Shipley tier.
Yeah, I can't help myself. I think if I just got excommunicated from drafting Chiefs running backs, I'd be like way up. Yeah, people forget Deneric Prince and Carson Steele and all these fucking losers. I mean, Elijah Mitchell at least is a better pick than Deneric Prince, I think.
What if Carson Steele resurgence? Flop
Carson
back?
Steele, people forget. Elijah Moore, man. Need Elijah Moore to sign a deal with someone.
Sometimes it's, rarely is it good news when you don't get signed and like Josh Palmer and co is getting picked off before you. Sometimes though, that tier 2 of free agency can be pretty good.
I mean, it'll be like, at least he will get to, oh my God, I've never forgotten Darwin Thompson. I once took Darwin Thompson in the 7th round of a main event. so I will personally never forget Darwin Thompson spending $2,000 on a fantasy draft and then taking Darwin Thompson.
Yeah, but main event you can cut players.
Main event you can cut players. Doesn't feel good to cut them, but you can.
No, dude, you love to cut players. As someone who's done main events with you,
I do love to cut.
You're trying to cut the whole roster. I'm like, look, this guy's a rookie. He might need some time. You're like, he's a 0. Cut him.
I do. I cut guys early.
Someone saying Jalen Polk is a winner. I don't know, man. Like, maybe he is.
Coolers is one of my co-managers with a big group of guys. We've done some horrible shit. Coolers and I have probably done about 25 main event teams together throughout, probably more, actually probably about 30. And we have some hilarious mishaps throughout the years. One time we auto drafted Derrick Henry and we all vetoed him. We all didn't want him, and and of course he smashed, obviously. But it ended up being one of our better teams. But we have a lot of stories like that.
My first year of best ball was like the year before BBM 2, so BBM 1. But I only drafted on DraftKings, and like Derrick Henry was one of my like core guys in the first round. Him and Austin Eckler.
This is basically, if you draft a main event team with me, I will say this 3 times during the draft. I'll be like, yeah, dude, we're gonna take Pearsall, but he's gonna be really easy to cut. I love taking guys in the 12th round who you'll just know immediately you can cut.
My team's kind of hard whether I'm gonna go an 8th wide receiver or a 7th running back. I see the validity for both because it's like, if Travis Hunter's a hit, yeah, I can live with this group of 7. And it's like, what does Ray McLeod do for me or whoever? But then it's like, Ford, Mason, Tucker, these guys are all drawing live to be pure zeros. So I don't know. I don't know what I'll do.
The Chiefs are definitely still scarred by first round CEH. The whole organization is very scarred by that. What a huge fucking miss, man. Passed up on so many contributors.
What if he's the backup instead of Kendre?
Be not great for me because I've got taken a lot of Kendre.
Man. It is very barren. Is Tutu still on the board?
Sure. Love Tutu. I think he is.
I don't love Tutu, but the running, I just didn't feel like taking.
I mean, it's the same thing as Demarcus Robinson or whatever.
But stacked.
All right. I got a 3-7-6-3. I could probably do either too. I could Reek, T, Tet, Pearsall, Reed, Iomanor. You know what? I probably will just take a running back.
Who else is catching passes from Fields this year? Malachi Corley?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Like Conklin's a free agent. Lazard's a free agent.
There you go. MVS just signed to the Seahawks.
Oh my God. Darnold is going to cook.
MVS to Darnold, dude. That's a cook.
Dude, his closing with the Saints was insane.
Yeah, he just scored like a 70-yard touchdown every week.
Yeah. Westbrook-Akine signed for like half as much millions as he scored touchdowns last year.
I mean, Nick Westbrook-Akine is terrible. Like he's brutal. You know what? I'm gonna take this fella Marcus Yarns. I've yet to take him. There we go. University of Delaware, same school as Corain.
I closed up with Field, Stafford, Carr, Judkins, Warren, Brian Robinson, Jerome Ford, Jordan Mason, Sean Tucker, Puka Nacua, AJ Brown, Jameson Williams, Chris Olave, Calvin Ridley, Travis Hunter, Downey Brown, Tutu Atwell, Jay McBride, Tucker Kraft, and Juwan, 13th best free agent according to The Athletic, Johnson.
All right, final team for me. Purdy to award at quarterback, Saquon Barkley, Amarian Hampton, Jalen Wright, Tajay Spears, Damian Martinez, Elijah Mitchell, and Marcus Yarns at running back. Wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins, Tet McMillan, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Reed, Alec Iomanor, A.D. Mitchell. Tight end, David Njoku, Colston Loveland, and Tyler Higbee. There we go, man. We did it. We're done.
For me, still waiting on some free agents like Cooper Kupp to be released, probably be a Patriot or something like that. I'll have new rankings on the site later today. Just got to upload them. And be sure to like and subscribe. I'll probably be back Friday.
All right. I will be back in an hour streaming over on the Endgame channel, doing the roundtable there with all the guys, and Neil Orfield actually is going to be on the show today as well. And then 4:30 p.m. Eastern time, 3:30 p.m. Central time, I am streaming NBA drafts. We're going to do a dance to begin with. Then I'm going to do some NBA battle royales. Then, of course, I will be back tomorrow on the channel, and I'm also streaming tomorrow afternoon on Ship Chasing. I'm joining Corain and Mr. Overzet, so I will see you all then. Later, everybody.
It's Short King Summer, dude. It just feels like no one in fantasy sports ever learns anything. Does he mistime it, or is Brock Bowers just a grown man? Brock Bowers is just a grown man. Dare I say, Rich, football might be back. In the words of Lane Johnson, this offense looks